'Tis true, but I really wish I would have. I really do, looking back. I feel like there are some experiences where, like, you have to learn. I don't feel like you have to learn, but I feel like you learn so much more going through it yourself than someone just kind of telling you and kind of warning you about it before you get to experience it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Radio City. We are coming to you live, featuring my co-host.
Okay, that's enough. Hi guys, welcome back to our video. Welcome to our page, our channel, our home. Welcome.
Come on in.
Welcome.
Come on in.
Today's video is going to be...
Wait, we can't even jump in like that and can't give them no explanation why you haven't been on the channel.
Sure we
We
can.
haven't even been posting videos like that.
Sure we can. And we're going to do so just like this. So today's video is going to be all about what to avoid doing in your 20s. I am in my latter 20s. She is in her
Pushing 30.
Don't need to disclose that. She is in her mid 20s. She's not too far behind me.
Oh wow!
So we've
I
learned
am
a few
18.
things. We've learned a few things, and we just want to talk to you about, like, you know, through our experiences, like some things we wish we would have, like, listened to our mom, of course, about things that we wish we wouldn't have to, like, have gone through.
You're so funny because she be so salty when she be talking about something. Y'all, I done told you that 100 times. Now you want to listen?
Yes.
Like, better to listen now. Better be late than never is my philosophy.
'Tis true, but I really wish I would have. I really do, looking back. I feel like there are some experiences where, like, you have to learn. I don't feel like you have to learn, but I feel like you learn so much more going through it yourself than someone just kind of telling you and kind of warning you about it before you get to experience it. So
Yeah.
I do agree with that.
I mean, I think that, you know, when you're young and especially when you're a teenager, you think you're invincible and you think that you know everything. Like, your parents are just not the coolest
Old,
thing
ancient,
in the
decrepit,
world.
and, like,
And
irrelevant.
anything they have to say, what are you even, am I even listening? No.
Right.
Like,
I
was
love you,
my,
but I'm not hearing you.
Right, that was my, like, and especially for me too, like, I have a very similar personality with my mother. So, like, anything she was saying, I was like, no.
All right. Well, I feel like for me, like, I'm so opposite of, like, my mom's, like, baseline personality, because she's, like, very outgoing, very, like, bubbly. Like, she says, she's just like her. And I'm, like, the opposite. So I was like, there's no way that you could ever understand because I'm introverted, because you're not me. So there's no way that you can relate. What you're saying was true for you has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
And how wrong was I?
Yeah.
So
your
without
mother,
further ado,
I gotta say this.
Okay, go.
If you're a teenager and you're watching this, your mother knows best. She'll tell you, she'll see, like, fake friends before you will.
Yep, every time.
She knows, like, and it's so like, I came to a moment, I think I was, like, might have been my junior year in college, and I, like, was just crying. I was like, my mom was right about everything. But honestly, like, for those who have a good mother figure too, like, your mother is gonna be, like, the strongest person in your corner and is constantly rooting for you and doesn't want to see you, like, fail.
Right.
So listen to her, but still do your due diligence to find your path, because sometimes you do have to go through experiences and situations that will make you into the person that you will be. But don't be hard-headed and don't, like, just be spite. Be like, you know what, just because you told me to do it, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
That is what it is. You know
That's what it is. And again, we're not trying to harp on this, but, like, there are some experiences where, again, to what she said, like, you do go through, because God will use your beauty. He'll turn your ashes to beauty. So it's not like you have to go through things yourself. So don't misconstrue what we're trying to say. You don't have to go through hard things to be like this person who you are.
Right.
But he will see that, okay, you were disobedient. You weren't listening.
Right.
You was being trifling.
Yeah.
And now because of that, you're here, and he'll make that into beauty. He'll make that
That's good.
help you to be a testimony to others, to, you know, make sure that you see the beauty within, or whatever the case may be. So again, with all of that, we're gonna jump into the first one. And the first one,
did we say what we're talking
avoiding.
About? We didn't say, like, what we're talking about.
No, we did all that.
So we did all
what we're
that.
talking about.
So the topic of today's video.
We did.
No, we didn't.
We did. I said that I'm in my late 20s and you're in your mid 20s.
But you didn't say, like, so the topic of today's
I
video.
did. I said from our past experiences.
Let's just say it again, because, like, what if it's not there?
Fine, Pastor Nicole. What is the topic? What's the sermon speech today?
Today we will be ministering on.
Here's your towel. Here's your towel.
Oh my God. So today we will be ministering and speaking on 10 things not to do while you are in your 20s.
Yeah. 10 things we would avoid
Yeah.
doing.
Coming from people who have experienced, you know, like she said, she is in her later 20s and knocking on 30's door.
Again, she continues to bring that up.
And I am still in the trenches.
She's not too far behind.
Of 20.
So it'll be great.
It'll be great. So, I'll start with my first thing.
Oh, okay. You wanted to start. That's what this whole thing was. That's
no.
fine. Begin.
So we're going to do 5 each. And so the first thing I said to definitely avoid while you're in your 20s is trying to put timestamps and deadlines on your goals and certain things that you should have. So that's not to say that you shouldn't plan and, you know, set goals and set things, but don't be frustrated because you're not a millionaire by the time you're 25, or you're not where you thought you would be and you're approaching 30. For example, like I know women, like there's a lot of societal pressure for you to get married at a certain age. And so you feel like, okay, well, you know, my time is dwindling down. Mm-hmm. Like I should be married. I should have been married 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. I should have had at least 10 kids.
At the minimum.
I should have had a house, 2 dogs. I should be a millionaire. Mm-hmm. Like, and then you sit back and realize like you have to go through certain things so that you can manage what you're meant to have. So God will, there was a, what's that scripture?
Which one?
God, and I said this before, God will, he'll let you be a ruler over little before he's let you be a ruler over much. Because while you're in the trenches or in the valleys, you're learning ambition. You're learning how to manage money if you're going to be a millionaire. He's not going to give you millions of dollars if you can't even you don't have the wherewithal to manage that money. Mm-hmm. Because you're going to blow through it.
To support that, though, is he'll never put more on you than you can bear.
And that's period.
So if you can't bear, you know, in this little full-time job that you have and not having that many bills to pay, and you're up in arms or you're depressed because of the season you're in, how is that going to be any different than you got kids not to worry about, you got a husband not to worry about, and you got your family, his family, and it's like different complexities. So he's not going to put more on you than you can bear. So until you're ready, he's going to be like, we got some more work to do. Little spit shine up that right quick, and then he'll give you the next thing.
And to piggyback on that, we made a video on how to pray and how to pray for your husband,
for Boaz.
But even to what Sharmby just said, like people be like, oh my God, I'm supposed to be married, but you don't even have one good relationship in your life, or you can't keep a good relationship, and you might be the source of the toxicity. Mm-hmm. So why would he bring someone that he's made specifically for you, and you're going to ruin the relationship because you haven't developed those certain skills and virtues that you need in order for that relationship to prosper, to flourish. Right. He's not going to just hand stuff to you. You have to work for stuff. Right. Like that's the reality of life as well. You have to, things are earned, not given.
Right.
I mean, some people just be given stuff or whatever.
Right. The only exception to that is God's salvation and his grace. That's the only thing that is just freely given. Everything else,
you got to put in the work.
You got to work for it. Okay. My first thing is I would avoid at all costs, I'm more so talking to like my early 20s with this, is to avoid serious relationships.
Like 20, 21, 22.
Yes, like I said, very, very early.
Yeah.
Like fresh out of college.
Yeah.
20s.
Yeah.
And I say to avoid serious relationships just because, well, we both kind of exited college with like serious relationships or baggage, at least from serious relationships. And it's such a time suck. I'm just being honest. Whether it's like a good relationship or a bad relationship, relationships are a time suck.
They are.
Just because you have to nurture, you have to grow. So either way you go when you're married, it's still going to be a time suck. Now, the benefits of the aftermath of that time suck will be completely different versus like a toxic and non-toxic relationship. But I say to avoid that is because until you really figure out what you were here to do, what God placed you here to do, serious relationships are a distraction.
Yes.
And again, when I say serious relationships, I'm again more so talking about romantic relationships. Serious friendships, power to you. Yes, you need a support system around you. And I'll get to that later. Make sure you got the right support system around you, okay? But romantic relationships, it's just so much of you dying to self and putting that other person before you, because that's really what you have to do in a relationship.
But people don't be doing that whole time.
People don't be doing that. People don't be doing that. And especially early in your 20s, it's like, and she's going to talk about this too, it's like you really should be figuring yourself out and figuring out, who am I? Again, what am I here to do? Who am I here to reach? And like, what's my focus?
Yeah.
And making sure that you're doing the steps and that you're preparing yourself physically, mentally, spiritually, all of that, so that you can do what you're here to do.
I agree.
And in my opinion, from my experience, it's extremely difficult to do that when you're in a serious relationship.
Yeah.
Not saying it can be done. And there are people who have been married, you know, they got high school sweethearts, they made it out through college, got married right after that.
That's awesome.
Power to you. Power to you. And that's just, you know, that's not my story.
Yeah.
I respect your story. Beautiful stories. I've seen beautiful families.
Yeah.
But for those that's not the case, just be with you. I don't like the cliche term of date yourself, but for the lack of that, date yourself. Just be with you, spend some time with yourself, learn what you like. You're always developing. That's the thing. Like, you're always growing until you can be mature and knowing, like, what your triggers are, what you like, what you don't like. And I also think, like, I'm kind of getting on a rant here. I'll sum this up. But I feel like what you like in a guy from, like, early 20s changes almost completely when you get later in your 20s.
It does.
The foundation of the guy, sure, like I need him to be a follower of Christ. I need him to be on fire for God. I need him to be a family person. I need him to be
respectful, loving, caring,
loyal. All those like basic necessities. Yes, that doesn't change. But like I used to think that him making me laugh was like super important, more so over like him loving God, for example. Like I needed him to be outgoing. I needed him to be like this fierce guy. When you walk into the room, you know, everybody stops, bop, 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 bop. And now I value loyalty much better, obviously. So I feel like the things that you desire in a guy will change as you grow older. And that's why I would suggest just don't do the serious relationships. Just wait.
And quick piggyback, like she said, if you're in a relationship and you don't love yourself first, but you try to go love someone else, the relationship will fail. I think we've talked about that in another video.
We have, so go watch that.
A quick reminder if you forgot. Secondly, and I've had this conversation with a bunch of people actually in the recent months, when you're in a relationship with someone while you're in college or while you're young and say that relationship is long lasting, you haven't really gotten a chance to grow apart, and so you only know each other. And a lot of times when you're in your 20s, it's a time of discovery. You want to know who you are, you know, what am I purpose to do? That's the hugest thing I feel like in your 20s. You just don't know what's next, what's going to happen. Like
even when you think you know, sometimes it changes.
Right,
completely.
like what direction, what path am I taking? And so that can be kind of hard to do with a partner on your, you know, on your hip.
Who's also doing the same thing. Come to think of it. Doing also the same thing.
And they want, you know, you need time for self-discovery, not partner discovery.
Right.
So that's just another reason why you shouldn't. A lot of times, a lot of relationships break up after they get out of college because they're like, you know what, I kind of want to see what else is out there and da-da-da-da. Don't even give them a chance, you know? Bye. Period. Bye. Bye.
Too much.
That's just my, you know, my personal.
That's just that. Okay,
Third thing is, comparison and trying to keep up with the Joneses. So I feel like, and I've talked about this before as well, like it's very, very easy for you to compare yourself, especially in this digital era, social media age. I mean, there's stuff that's constantly on your feed that just reminds you of like why you're not this, why you're not that, why you don't have that. And if you're constantly like putting yourself up against what someone else has based on just what they're showing or portraying it'll ultimately like put you into depression. Or trying to idolize or go after someone else's purpose and dreams rather than going after yours because you see what's working for them and you'll be like, you know what, that's working for them and they got this and this and that, so let me do that. Comparison is a thief of joy. So don't even put yourself in that situation. Work on your path, stay in your lane. There's less traffic when you stay in your lane. So don't ever try to go over and swerve and swerve. Be in your own lane and find your journey and your path. Don't be swayed and if what you can do too is if you notice that there's people on your feed or your TL that make you feel a certain way, unfollow them. Like if you feel like there's like some jealousy like rooting up in itself, number one, go work on
unfollow.
Go work on you. and see why that seed is there, and see why you're getting that, like why jealousy is rooting up. But if you just have someone on your feed that's just not what you want to be saying, that triggers something each time, just unfollow them. But also, I would say work on yourself and be happy with where you are, and learn that there is, it's all about, what does Pastor Mike say? All about progression, not perfection. Mm-hmm. So really, in your 20s, focus on just being a better you. And don't compare your journey to someone else's journey, because they're not going to be the same. They won't look alike. But you could all be going to the same level of success, but your journey to get there won't be the same.
So it's like, for an example of that, and we talked about this kind of a little bit in our Woman Up conference that we had in the summer. It was in the summer, right?
It was last month.
It wasn't.
But yeah, August is the summer.
And a big thank you to all of you that came out. That was
and watch the live.
That was a really fun conference. Mm-hmm. We're excited to do it again next year. But like, for example, if a trigger, and this was a trigger of mine for a while, if I'm being open and transparent.
Okay.
Is seeing married people.
Okay. Now talk about it.
Right. I'm in my late 20s.
Yeah.
And then, so like when I see, and especially it's like, it's certain kinds of married couples. It's like the ones that are
genuinely happy.
Yeah, exactly. Truly though, I'm like,
you can't be that happy. I want this happiness.
They just like embody love. They just look like love.
Yeah.
And it just used to get, and you could just tell that my whole countenance would shift after like seeing it, especially like back to back. And of course, Instagram is a program, so the stuff that you linger on is going to show you more of. So every time a couple traveling together, I mean, just anything they did together, even just like date nights. Cute little date nights. I saw one that they did like a whole picnic in the backyard, and he made, like this whole little trail of rose petals or whatever. And roses, I don't even like roses. And I was like, why am I getting jealous of him doing all this stuff for this woman? This is beautiful. But it was the whole principle of it. So again, if that stuff triggers you, stay off of social media altogether. Yeah. Because it's all that you need to block everybody's single stuff just because you can't handle it.
Well, not blocking it, just unfollow them for the time being until you can handle it. Right, but there will come a time where it'll be fine
to the point though, like in your Instagram feed, like there's some people that you don't even follow, and it's like if you're seeing all of these people, you don't even follow them. Yeah. They're just recommending the profiles because they see what you like and they see what you're on most of the time.
Stop liking the post, period. When you unfollow those people, you won't
true.
like the post no more.
Stop liking the post, yeah. And I would just say, just take a little break.
Yeah, social media fasts are good.
Yeah, we've talked about that before. Leave it in the description below if I can find.
Stop lying. You always say that. No, she's not, and I'm not gonna look for it.
We do have another video talking about social media fasting, so just go find it. It's not that we don't got that many videos, so go find it.
We really have 60-some videos.
Something like that. So just take the break until you can figure out what the root of that is. Of course, spending time with God, praying, asking God to renew your mind, heart, soul, body. That's gonna come after, but you've got to give your mind the mental break and cancel out the noise so that He can talk to you. You can hear Him clearly. Okay, my second one is, this is a good one. So nobody.
We're gonna have to go quicker because this is 4 minutes.
I know. Where we at 4?
Yeah.
We could just do one more. Okay, the fourth one is the avoidance of learning how to manage your finances. This is a really, really big one. Now, again, this is actually for just anybody, period. When someone comes to you, especially as like a trusted confidant, like they have so many programs now where they have financial literacy. And it sounds intimidating, but honestly, it's really not. It's just taking the time to learn it and take it piece by piece. So, for example, I got a credit card in college. Did I know how to use it? No. Did they try to tell me how to use it? Sure did. Wasn't trying to listen.
They didn't tell me how to use it.
Wasn't trying to listen. Our mother told us how
Mommy
credit card works.
said, don't use it.
No, she didn't. Only use it for emergencies and then pay it off. That's what she said to do. But clearly, this one wasn't listening.
But like in general, though, you're not taught how like certain things that affect your credit score, like you using up a certain percentage of the credit card affecting your credit
sure,
score.
not the nitty gritty. No,
you paying different times of the month for it to increase your credit score.
Right.
You know, doing certain things that affect the credit card. You're just taught basic stuff.
Right.
Don't use it. Use it for emergencies. Okay, everything's an emergency when you don't got money.
Right. Tis
when
true.
you're 18 and you don't got money, everything's an emergency. My Victoria shopping spree is an emergency.
Right.
Me going to go get Starbucks is an emergency.
Right. Well, no.
Me needing makeup is an emergency.
That's not an emergency.
Me needing a new wig is an emergency.
Okay, we got it. Anyway.
But I feel like a lot of people are becoming now financially literate. So like
now they are, yes. But I feel like again later down the line, I feel like early 20s they don't. You don't care about finances.
Yeah.
Well, one, it's probably because you're still dependent on your family.
It's just overwhelming.
That's fine. And two, yes, it is overwhelming, and you don't feel like you need to have it. But when we say that interest rate, let's just talk about it real quick. When we say that interest rates are a real thing,
don't take out that student loan.
interest rates
are the devil himself.
Yeah, let's just
the
leave it at
devil
that.
himself.
Let's leave it at that. So just stay informed, get informed. Even when you don't want to hear it, just like I said, take a little bit of information in at a time. And again, there's so many resources. Like I said, there's programs, there's videos on YouTube on how to like manage your finances. So get a budget in place, learn how to map out your spending, your monthly spending, see how much you're spending on food. On food.
That's a big one.
On food, and learn where your money is going. Let's start there.
Yeah.
Learn where your money is going, and then you can figure out how to put a percentage away to save each and every month.
Yeah.
I've heard from several videos that you could be bringing in pennies, but there should still be a penny or two that you should be having in your savings just in case, because things come up. Like she said, it's life. Things come up, and you've got to be ready.
Save. Yeah.
It's hard. You never know.
It's hard to save though, especially when you're young, because you feel like you need everything. Like you gotta keep up with this and that person.
Right.
Don't, because would you rather have all the things that somebody else has in these luxury designer items and be homeless?
Right.
Be without a car.
Right.
Be without financial freedom. Wait, because those luxury things will still be there.
They will.
And you don't look like a better person just because you have a Gucci belt on. I'm gonna say it.
No, you don't.
I'm gonna say it.
That's truth though.
So don't be trying to like so fixated on trying to get designer this, designer that, just to look like you have money.
Right.
Because that's not a cute look. You be looking like you have money and have $0 to your name, and then you will be working like a dog for the rest of your life because you didn't learn financial literacy early enough. So now you have to work for money rather than making money work for you.
That's it.
You want to be able to have financial freedom so that if at 45 you want to retire, you can
That's
retire.
your business, and you could do so comfortably.
Right. So don't worry about trying to pretend like you have money by doing all that. So if that means that you have to penny pinch and like buy this kind of stuff, do that. That means you have to stay with your parents until you can afford to own a home rather than to rent. Do that.
Yeah. Do
whatever you need to do to make sure that you're financially stable so that you can offer financial freedom not only to yourself but for generations in your family to come.
That's it.
It's not only about just building wealth for yourself,
leaving a legacy
and freedom for yourself, but it's your kids, it's your kids' kids. You have to think long term if that's what you want. But if you don't want a family and you don't care about that, at least care about yourself enough for you
can
to
still
have
leave a legacy,
financial freedom.
Yes.
So
I eat Oprah. Oprah's leaving a legacy. She has no kids. Not on one.
She adopted one.
Oh, did she? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Or two. I don't remember. Whatever. Not important.
Okay. Last one.
Which kind of ties into what we were just talking about. Worrying. Do not worry about if you're going to be successful or not, or if you're going to make it, because it's easy to see. And this used to be me. Like I used to be so just annoyed, and I would see like 18-year-olds
this would be your trigger,
being millionaires and having all this stuff, and I was like, because for me, I used to always confess I was like, by 18 I'm gonna be a millionaire. By 18 I was gonna be a millionaire, but I wasn't really doing anything for me to be like a millionaire. I was just confessing. I was just like, I'm 18 I'm gonna be a millionaire. But so when I started like getting past 18, even though I'm still 18. But when I started getting past 18 and I wasn't a millionaire, like it hit hard every time I saw someone younger than me achieving
major
wealth.
Success.
Or not even success, just wealth.
Yeah. What's success?
To some people. Some people it's not.
Yeah.
But I just, it used to trigger me. So I was like, well, when is it going to happen for me? Like, but you can't worry about it. It goes all back to timelines too. Like, what's meant for your life, it might, some people, it could take you till you're 54. It could take you till you're 34. It could take you till, it could be next year. But you have to just trust the process and continue to just weather through the storm and don't give up, because that time you give up, you could have almost been there. So now you just detracted from putting in that time, putting in that work, and learning things from the process, and now starting back all over. So don't be dismayed or upset or frustrated in the season that you're in. Your time will come, but you have to harvest and work on some things before you can get there. And that's just what it is.
That's just that. That's a good way to end this one.
So
those are our first 5. We do have 5 more juicy ones. So you'll have to come back and check for the remaining 5. But we hope this was helpful. Again, you know, we're ancient, so we've learned so much.
Ancient.
So much years of wisdom.
About 80 and don't have a wrinkle, you know, black don't crack.
Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Again, we hope this is helpful. We'll see you in the next video.
See ya.